Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. How are you guys doing tonight? I know that the Olympics is going on, so some people will be watching that. This is going to be a little bit of shorter one because if I don't have this one quickly, then you're going to miss the hammer throw. I imagine that most of the people in this group, because this is a hammer throw qualification, they might not be watching it. But it's the 3,000 meter steeplechase. I'm a distance guy, and I love to watch that. And it's the women's shot put final, so I want to get to that and catch those. So with that being said, without further ado, smash the like button if you are here on this live or if you're seeing this later. We're about to get into this topic. Let me see, where is this scene at, so I can make sure that I have you guys here and I'm actually looking at you. This is an impromptu, so this one isn't scheduled like my normal one, so it's going to be a little bit off. Nope, that's not the right one. All right, you guys should see the Tokyo Olympic screen. Let me know if you guys do see that, and if you guys hear me right now, if you're in the chat. All right. Okay. Looks like we got a couple of viewers. I know a lot of you are going to be watching that, but if you can hear me in the chat, type in one. Otherwise, let me get into this content right here. So far, here it is right here. Nope, this is not the screen that I wanted. Give me just a second. Let me pause this up. In the meantime, smash the like button. Share this with other people. This is going to be a short one. I need to pull up the chart that I needed, because they were discredited in times, but it's not necessarily what you may think. Alrighty, cool. This is I'm ready to go. So with that being said, you should be seeing the 100 meters on your screen. I can see that you guys can hear me. So here we go. Let me scroll all the way down. So these are the two things that I heard. One is that the times were fake. All right. I saw that in different discords. I saw that in the comment section on the videos. And then the other one is that the wait a minute. This is not what I wanted either. Oh my goodness. This is what the impromptu is. Give me about 30 seconds to fix this one up. I'm taking L's right here. All right, all right. Why is it not showing what I needed to show? That is not what I needed. All right, I know you guys are hearing that the typing right there. Here it is. Gosh dang, here we go. Now we're in it. So the two topics that I'm seeing all around is that the times are fake, that the timers were just making it up, right? So I've been timing at for USATF at different levels, mainly the youth level. I've also timed for just typical high school meets. I've timed for regional meets, the state meets, and everything like that, for masters, youth, and that for USATF. But I've also done adult meets, right? And I've also done Division One, NCAA. So that's the collegiate for the internationals here. That is the collegiate level for the university level that I've done. I've done the Missouri Valley Conference championship actually in itself, and I've done several schools in the Missouri Valley Conference and outside of the Missouri Valley Conference for NCAAs. So I'm very familiar with the timing system that we have, that we set up. What the? Am I losing something here? Oh no, I'm not. Okay, here it is. I had the correct list in the beginning. So What this is about is the two things. One, they said that Talu's time and the rest of the times in the heats were fake because they were too fast. When I asked people by exactly how much, they start clutching their pearls. They say, "Well, you're not open-minded enough, and to expect this." No, I'm not going to be open-minded to an accusation that has no backing. So I asked them to provide it. They said it will hype up the events because some of the athletes said they were athletes in college and they've seen it directly, and then other people just said that it makes sense that it's there. So these are multiple places that I'm seeing it at. So number one, for the person that said they were an athlete, or the multiple people that said they were athletes and they seen it done, I've been on the other side of this. I have not done this myself, but the people that were there as timers, I was like the backup timer just in case anything went wrong. They had a 200-meter race that was at a college in particular. They were running against a headwind. All the times were slow at that meet. Somehow in the middle, somebody pressed the reset button. They panicked. They thought it was a false start, and then they didn't realize it. I tried to tell them, hey, wait a minute, don't press the button. They reset the time. And so what we had to go off of was the hand time there. We had to take the coaches from the stands and let them know. We said, hey, we can either rerun this race or we can use this and try to adjust it based on this. And that will be the measurement that we will have. That was one instance. That will only have been approved from the coaches and the officials. Other than that, and the athletes. They were so far off their times. They were like the B-string athletes, but they were off their times. They weren't near PRs, so they said it's not a big deal. We don't want to run them again. Some of these athletes are running in the 4x4 relay or whatever, or they didn't want to tire them out because they weren't going to run again, right? Or run that time again. That was one instance of that. And any other time that I have witnessed that, which was one other time, once again, it was bringing in the coaches. Hey, you got a time here. You want to put it in here. This is what's going to happen. They were, of course, not happy that the timers were not on their ball, right? But these were not huge meets. If it's a huge meet, something like this is checked and double checked. Obviously, human error happens every once in a while, but it's not going to be acceptable to use a hand time. So that's something that's behind the scenes for people that are wondering, hey, what's that? That's something there. And I'm going to make a whole video about how timers can maybe fudge things, but it doesn't make any sense. At most, how much can it be done, sir or ma'am? Please tell me, by how much can they fudge the time? From my instance, from my point of view as a timer, I would say at most they could do what, 2/100ths of a second. So that means Talu's time was 2/100ths of a second slower. None of those times would have, I mean, they ran their times. So they discredit the athletes at every single level. They say, it's the track, it's the shoes, it's the timers. They're the ones manipulating everything. And yes, okay, we could say Flojo, whatever. That wouldn't necessarily be the timers. That would be whatever systems are in the background. But yeah, so in the comment section, we got Brendan saying, why do people worry about pointless BS like the tracks being fast? Do they want them back running on cinder track? Exactly. Why? Okay, let's go back to Jesse Owens. Matter of fact, let's go back to that. I trained on a cinder track in my high school, and it was not bulldozed over or flattened or anything like that. I trained on one, and we ran times on there, and then we got to run on a non-cinder track, and we ran a lot faster. Oh, what do you know? It's the track, or is it our training? Of course, everything is set up. The spike itself, the shoes, we're running on our forefoot and not barefoot. Obviously, the shoe is going to be some kind of thing. I think that's common sense with those people, but it's not common sense to them. I forgot. Common sense isn't common because they like to hate on everything. And then Snip Snip said, aren't the times electronically done by machines? Yes and no, because the timers have an influence over that. Let me pull this up in a second, and then I'm going to get to the next one where they were talking about the field being weak, and that's why the Jamaicans went the clean sweep. All right? So let me bring this up here. Wow, you could hear everything about this creaking chair in this hotel. But I like my creaking chair. Smash the like buttons if you are here. We got about 50 people. Can we get those likes up to about 25? 1 second. I just went over the timing part, and this is the last end of the timing. Let me bring this up under a different tab. All right, the screen is back. Now you see this on your screen right here. These red lines are, they could be automatically set because of the settings in high tech. That's the system that's there. Finish links, actually. Finish links high tech. And so this would be on the chest, right? And so you notice that it's inside some athletes and other ones because, you know, some have breasts and that are big and other ones are smaller. So it's going to go on your chest, not your breast. We always would tell some athletes that were more endowed in the front, hey, it's going to go off of your chest. And of course, if you have an electronic timing system, you have to have a human that matches this up. That's where the difference is sometimes, where you see the unofficial results. It might be, and people are calling it flash timing system. That's an unofficial name because there's a company called Flash Timing or Flash and whatnot. But and quite frankly, this is the first year that I've heard people call it flash timing system. I have never heard that before in that term, not from any time that I've used it or my somebody that I know. Matter of fact, I will bring a guy that's done the NCAA nationals here, and I believe the USA TF nationals. Now that one I'm not sure. And if I can have him as an interview on here, because people are saying a lot of things that are untrue about timers, like just flat out. Now, this red line is where the time is. Now, I can adjust this by hand. That's why, and it's automatically set to the hundredths. Now, if we need to go to the thousands because of a tiebreaker, that's what we'll go through. And sometimes you have cameras on both sides so that you can see both angles. Sometimes they have a video plus the camera on both sides plus some front video or something like that. Now, that's a very expensive setup. But of course, at bigger games, they will have something that is there. But yeah, I can adjust these red lines. Now, could this be subjective to me that her chest is right here when she's diving right here? Could be. Now, if that were for a record, maybe somebody is more diligent on what they're doing. But this looks like this is actually at the exact right spot because it's where your chest, the very tip of your chest, wherever it is. Same thing right here for these athletes. I hope you guys are following what I'm saying. Now I'm going to move on to the next part where they were saying the field is weak. The field is weak. I saw this in the comment section. And there was somebody that joined the Discord. I had to just remove them because they just started spamming it up for a few minutes. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Now, where is this at? Wrong tab. Here, the 100 meters. Thank you all for joining us right now. I know that some of the events are about to start that you all want to watch. No, D'Angelo, I'm not talking about you. That's if it was you, you would have been removed. It was somebody else. Brendan said, goes to show every sport has its quote-unquote fans who love to nitpick the sport. It's weird. Just appreciate the fast times, LOL. Exactly, yeah. All right, D'Angelo, get yourself out of here, man. You're saying Shelly won. The field is weak, LOL. The field was stacked. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think this comes from the people that love Sha'Carri, just flat out. It might be the people that say, oh, the field is weak because Sha'Carri wasn't there. Sha'Carri wouldn't have done anything different. Maybe gotten a third. But here's where the proof is going to come in the pudding. Right? Here's where we come in. Now, if the field was so-called weak, here's how we break this down. If you're here, we got over 60 people. Smash the like button and definitely subscribe because we break down things with evidence here. We don't just throw things out in the air and then expect people to believe it just because we said it. If I'm going to say something about timing, I'm going to give you a logical explanation the best way. I could very well be wrong, right? But I'm not just going to say a random thing in the air. That's the difference here. If I'm wrong, okay, prove it. Go ahead, start a YouTube channel, put a mic up in there, and then have a conversation with that. Send me the video, because otherwise I wouldn't search it or watch the channel. With that being said, here's Elaine Thompson-Herah. Did you all know that this is the very first time that somebody that would have run a 10-8 anything would not have gotten a medal? Number one, case closed should be, oh, this is a strong field right here. Oh, case closed. Was it a weak field because Talu didn't run another 10-7 or at least a 10-8 something in the final, and she ran slower than she ran in Rio, which was a 10-86, which was then her PR. Wow, okay, cool. I guess weak field then. We're going to explore the previous ones, but right now it should be case closed that a third place bronze medal, the first time in history, had they run a 10-77 or slower, they wouldn't even have gotten a medal. First time in Olympic history with a wind legal time that an athlete has broken 10-7. That should be case closed right there. Is it that the field is weak, or that these athletes are so much better than everybody else that it makes them look like they're slow? I remember one time I was announcing a meet and I said, I forgot who the runner was, but we're going to say Shelly-Ann or Elaine Thompson-Herah is running so fast it makes the rest of the runners look like they're running in quicksand. And the of course the meet director told me to apologize because one mother, even the athletes that finished in second, third, they said it's not even a big problem. But they came up there with the tears and she came crying. I wasn't even going to apologize. I was like, yeah, you guys could just get rid of me. But they were just like, look, and they convinced me, and I said, okay, I apologize. It's not representative. That was me not representing USATF or whatever. But they came up with the panties in a bunch. Well, one parent, even the crowd got silent. It's like the girl at the youth level, she was like 14 or something, from Indiana. She was a Gatorade Athlete of the Year or something like that. And she was so much in front of everybody else, it was like a Usain Bolt effect in the final. It was just like, she finished, I finished my sentence, and everybody else was still running. Like, wow. But anyway, 1091, 1097, 1099. She just didn't run her best time in the final. But let's look at the previous ones, right? Okay, let's read a comment before I get to the next one. Brendan said, okay, Pimp, the 478, the field was stacked and that gives the time more validity, The track was very fast too, but they're fast and slow tracks. No problem with timing mechanism. Brandon said, I feel this just spills over from the bogus, quote unquote, fake times talk that's been around since the start of outdoor season. Exactly. And then Pimp also said, I think Sha'Carri could have possibly gotten second for real. Shelly didn't execute properly. For real, we need a redo, said D'Angelo. All right. D'Angelo, you over here smoking some stuff. Maybe you got to go join Richardson. Because you jumped ship from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce to Richardson real quick when Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce didn't win. That was some interesting stuff. But here we go. Here's back to Rio. All right, Elaine Thompson-Herah, continuing what Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce precedent was. That every time you win, you run a 10-7, right? All right, here's a 10-7, a 10-83. Oh, was this field weak? Second place was a 10-83. And remember, this was only about 5 years ago when we had athletes that were at 10-7 low, right? Okay, but anyway, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was injured, so maybe if she wasn't injured, it would have forced the field to be even faster. Think about that one. Remember, it could have been faster. This could have been a 10-6 right here. Maybe Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce could have won. Maybe Elaine Thompson-Herah, if she was pushed, could have ran that 10-6 something there. Right? Now, look at this. Talu ran faster, a 10-86, so maybe there's an argument that the field, I guess. But think of the top four. Okay, take the top four. We're back at 10-9s again. Oops. All right. Let's go to London. That was the one where the 4x1 world record was there. Now, we know Jeter was here, so it was 10 sub 10-8s. All right. Veronica Campbell-Brown still medaled with a 10-8. Veronica Campbell-Brown. She could have ran faster? Yeah, maybe. All right. We had Tiana Madison with a personal best. Same thing with Allison Felix. All right. Now, Fraser-Pryce ran a 10-75. All right. Are we following the narrative here? We're calling this a weak field this year, but in the previous years, okay, maybe what they were saying is that the fields were more, quote unquote, competitive. Because when I say in the 4x4, it's boring that the U.S. wins all the time. That is what I say, and that is what I see. Because it's just, not only does the United States win, it's not that they're boring that they win. I love to see winners. especially like the 3K steeplechase for the men with the Kenyans, they make it entertaining because sometimes you think, oh, they can't win, and then at the last minute they pull away from it. But the U.S. is so dominant collectively in the 4x4s on the men and women's side. Now they flubbed up a couple times, but it's a gap. And it's just like, okay, everybody else is just racing themselves, and the U.S. is just doing some victory laps right here. That's how it was. That mixed 4x4, even though the U.S. finished where they finished in third, it was so post-pounded. I would have liked, me personally, I was actually upset, if I got to reveal something here, that the United States didn't win. I was pissed that the U.S. did not win on that. But it was still exciting because it wasn't just a clear out blowout. It was just like, oh, this team, Dominican Republic, is trying to do something. Here comes Poland. Sweden is using Femke Bowl. Wow, that was crazy. So, yeah. Now, let's look back again. We're going to look all the way back to Los Angeles, at least. Wait a minute, you saying we? I think it's sarcastic. We feel Batalu would have won Atlanta 1996 100-meter final with this time, for example. Some people have been watching 100 for the last few years only. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were smoking. But here we go. Let's break this down. Shelly-Ann, fraser-pryce, 1078. Okay, now here's the argument that we got a weak field for instance right here. Now this could be argued that it's a weak field. Look at how much faster Shelly-Ann fraser-pryce is from second and third place, which was another clean sweep. Oh, that was the first time in history that a clean sweep happened in the women's 100. And guess what nation did it again the second time? Oh, Jamaica. Now, I personally would like to see the United States do it, but hey, winners are winners, and I got to acknowledge that and respect that. So, U.S. is falling off. I'm a guy that's just reporting the news, and Jamaica has done it the second time. All right. Now, this could be argued that this was a weak field. Now, everybody in this field could be argued to be weak, which means it's a competitive field, except for Shelly-Ann fraser-pryce, who ran away with it. That was a competitive field. Simpson and Stewart, fast athletes. Lauren Williams, fast athlete with horrible form. Muna Lee, I think she could have done better. I personally think she could have been up there in the medals with Muna Lee, and hopefully I can get her as an interview on here. But so on and so forth. That could be argued that this is a weak field. Athens. And if you're just joining us, let's go. Smash the like buttons. What I am doing is, if you're just joining us, as a quick summary, I broke down because people were claiming that Talu's time was fake. The heats were fake. That's what they were saying. So therein lies Talu's time would have been fake. They said all of them were fake because they were running too fast and everything like that. Now, people are claiming that the track is fast. Justin Gatlin, if I'm not mistaken, ran on the same track earlier in the season, didn't run a fast time. Matter of fact, ran slower here. There were several other athletes that ran on this track, and they ran slower. Maybe there are such things as fast times, but I think it's called peaking. I think sometimes, or fast tracks, but sometimes we take away from the athlete's performances. Now, with this is a competitive field. It was a slow Olympics compared to even what you saw before, but it was a competitive field, right? All right. That's enough said right there. She would have actually won the Athens Olympics with that time that she ran. Now, obviously, this was Marion Jones. She had ran a 1075, drugged up on roids and everything. This athlete, I don't know why they still have her from Greece, if I'm not mistaken. She also got DQ'd, which is why they haven't given out a gold medal to anybody because they're nervous that somebody else might get popped. But with that being said, with the exception of Marion Jones being there, the rest of the field was incredibly just off point. Like, it's like the talent for the world 100 just fell off at Sydney. And that's nothing to take away from them, because you show up and you win, you win. It doesn't matter what the times are, but I'm just trying to show an example here. Now, here's Gail Devers. Devers, oh my goodness. She makes those races exciting, I swear. And I would do an animated race with Devers, Marlene, and everything like that from Jamaica, and Torrance and everything. If you guys want me to do that, definitely subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because they're trying to discredit the Jamaicans from winning, and also all the other times of the athletes. That includes Kambunji, when she temporarily had the Switzerland national record, and Del Pont. that has the Switzerland national record now, because they all did those in the heats. They're discrediting all of those times and said they're fake because the timers wanted to hype it up so that people can watch it. What kind of stuff is that? Now, is this a slow field? Compared to that time, that was competitive. Geldivers again. We're going to go through this a little bit faster now. Now, these were faster with a negative 1.0 wind. Think about that one. Negative 1.0 wind, 1082. That means they would have been in the 10.7s. Now, this would have been a very, very fast final. I think this would have been the first one, had this not been such a strong headwind. This might have been the first final, actually, to have somebody that would have run a 10.8, which I still think at least one of these times would have been to not medal. That would have been equivalent right here. We can argue that with the 1992 Summer Games. It's not that they're just trying to discredit the Jamaicans. They're trying to discredit the Jamaicans in the final and all the times in the first round. They didn't say it in the semis, and they didn't even question the times in the final anymore, right? They said the heats times were fake and that the final times were real. I don't know how they think that, because it's the same timers. Why would they make the heat times fake and the final times real? But the finals, it was just a weak field, and that was the only reason that the Jamaicans got the clean sweep. I don't understand how people can put the tinfoil hat on their head so hard that they can't breathe, and they come up with the oxygen deprived brain to come up and utter that or type that out on a sentence on a keyboard. I just don't understand. But this is actually one for 1992. So that might have been the first time. But hey, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They didn't do it on paper. So 1998. Now, we know what happened there. Plus 3.0 headwind. There was somebody in the comment section that said, hey, how come the Olympic record was 1061? I thought Florence Griffiths Joyner ran a 1054. Now, if you're watching the live right here or on the replay, this is the reason why. It's only legal if you have a plus 2.0 and below for the wind. And this one was a plus 3.0. That means it was over the legal limit, and so that none of these times would have qualified officially for a record book or any time like that. So with that being said, there you go. Evelyn Ashford, man, she was fast. She had the Olympic record at one point at 1097, if I'm not mistaken. So was this a non-competitive one? Because if you adjust these times to where they were, oh my goodness, they would be a lot slower. And here's the last one. I'm going to cover Evelyn Ashford at the Los Angeles Olympics. That's the last one. Now, she set the Olympic record. The rest of the field was just out of it, right? You got athletes that are running 11 threes from Jamaica, 11.4 from Canada, and so on and so forth, and it's slower. Now, at the time, obviously, the women weren't as fast, right? So when you go far enough back, you're going to see athletes struggling. They're going to medal running 20 point in the 200, right? So this is not to discredit any of the times, because you got to be the fastest athlete in the field. You got to be the fastest in your era. That's why I said with these animated races, we're going to adjust them for gender. If we do cross-gender races, we're going to adjust them for times, because Evelyn Ashford was a dominant factor at her time. So if I have Evelyn Ashford animated race versus a prime Evelyn Ashford versus a prime Marion Jones that was not in the drug cheat era, so all the times that she wasn't in her drug cheat era, versus a Flojo versus a Shelly-Ann, Fraser-Pryce, Sharika Jackson, and Elaine Thompson-Herah, we're going to adjust them for their actual abilities versus just the time. All right, so to make it where it's entertaining, where could they finish? So with that being said, look, anybody that's saying out here that these times are fake, number one, what incentive was it to do the times fake in round one and not just fake them all the way around? And number two, if you're holding it that the times are fake, all right, tell me exactly by how much are they fake by. Tell me mathematically how much they're fake by. Remember, I was a timer. I was on the other side. I've seen that, and I explained at the beginning of the video what situations could go down and how you bring in the coaches and officials if something goes there, and they will have a rerun. is if they messed up at this final, trust and believe they will have them do a rerun. What would make any sense there when you got cameras that are literally seeing this? People what more than likely double check is people that on their home, they'll hand time it obviously and they try to adjust. They'll have people that have a computerized system that starts when that starts and subtract their reaction time. It would take way too much time for them to make up the time on the fly and then try to adjust it if they messed up here in the middle of that. Like, and then with people trying to scrutinize, this is the Olympic level. You think just one person is going to be like that? Just get out of here. Y'all smoking. And if you're a person that said the times are fake, like legit, just unsubscribe. On the way out, you can leave a dislike button, right? It helps the algorithm either way. I want you to unsubscribe because you are just spreading toxic stuff. One, you said Oregon times were high altitude when we debunked you. It's nowhere near high altitude. It's just slightly above sea level. Slightly. That's equivalent to you maybe going through a state, if you're in the United States, or different locales or different cities in your own country. It is not that much of a difference. So I need you to unsubscribe because you were saying that the Caribbeans are suffering the sins of the past of black people's sins and the people in the United States. Oh, but the Caribbean island nations got a clean sweep in the 100. So you could shut up. The United States got an athlete in the final of the 100, which actually I was quite frankly surprised. But the United States got an athlete in the final of the 100. So you could take several seats on that one again. Then you guys are coming out here. These are very similar people saying it. Some of them are the same. Saying that, oh, because Richardson messed herself up by smoking, well, the finals isn't really the finals, and she would have smoked all of them. Oh, no pun intended, right? She would have smoked all of them. We're not going to watch the Olympics because Richardson isn't there. This is how the argument has evolved. Every single time something has happened, here's the new argument that these same people have been doing. And I haven't blocked them off of the channel except for one person because he said, I'm going to unsubscribe because you're going to block me. I'm going to unsubscribe first. And I'm like, okay, attention seeker, you didn't have to tell me that. Okay, Pimp said, you can never know for sure what will happen because Sha'Carri running low 10-7s, even with a headwind in his final, would convert to a 10-6 here. All right, Pimp, I will say it like this. I do know what would happen. She didn't make the final, and she ain't here, so she lost. Loser. That's what it is. She's a loser. If you didn't win, you lost. You can't count us as losers because we're not competing, right? You can count us as couch potatoes or sideline quarterbacks or coaches or whatever, but you can't call us losers. She was in a competitive field. She smoked that good ganja, and she got herself kicked. Same thing with Okabare. Now, even if we could feel like they're being targeted, that still doesn't take away from the fact that one thing at least would have been true. Her smoking. She admitted to it. She didn't fight back against it. She just said, all right, wrong, I'll take my knocks. And then went and proceeded to trash talk people and done the plausible deniability. There's one thing, if you let your ego fly and you got nothing behind your name. You don't got a world championship title. You don't have anything. Here she is right here. I got to put the face up because I'm talking about the athletes. She doesn't have a world championship title behind her or a medal. She doesn't have an Olympic medal behind her. Not at all. And yet wants to go and do the sneak dissing in the indirect conversations and then say plausible deniability as if she didn't start things. Now, that's good for a business brand. Remember, I did call her the smartest one in track and field. I called it for that for economic reasons. She turned her mess up, her F up, into money. Now, you can be a loser in track and field and still win in the pocket banks. Now, for athletes that or spectators that care about the legacies and everything about winning and everything about, hey, this person is there, then you'll look to a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce where she's the most winningest athlete in the 100, bar none. Now, maybe Shericka Jackson can take over that. Maybe Elaine Thompson-Herah can take over that, but she's 29. She doesn't have that much time before she starts aging and then slowing down. Think about it. So can you take away from her 2 gold medals at the Olympics, the 4 silver medals at the Olympics, the bronze medal at the Olympics, the 9 world championship golds that she has? Can you take away from those? Can you take away that she has run 10.7 the most out of any athlete there? No, you can't. So, with that being said, these are just people that can sideline quarterback, or she can shoot her shot like literally right around the time that these athletes are running their heats and semis. She points out, hey, you missed me yet? And then claims that it had nothing to do with those athletes. Oh, you didn't say you missed me yet after the 100 was over, like a few days later. You didn't do it randomly in between. You said it right around that time. Of course you're referencing that, thinking that it would have added there. They said Sha'Carri would have lost. She wouldn't have even got a medal. I think third place at best. Her start was atrocious. The one that she had the highest chance to beat was Shericka Jackson. Like literally, that's the highest chance she had to beat. And I don't know if Shericka Jackson would have actually been beat. She ran what she needed to run. She's got a worse start than Shericka Jackson, although she's faster than Shericka Jackson. But also, this time was run against a negative 0.6 headwind right here. So that was the PR right there. So we'll see. I guess they could have peaked at the right time. The Prefontaine, don't be fooled by Sha'Carri's time right here. Don't be fooled by Sha'Carri's time, because what's going to happen, here's the narrative. I'm going to write it down for you guys here. We got over 120 people. Smash the like button and subscribe, because I keep it all facts. If it was something against Shelly-Ann, Fraser-Pryce, or Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shericka Jackson, I'm going to hold them to account too. I have no favoritisms when it comes to this. I'm just reporting the news. Now, when it comes to this is where I think is going to happen, because it's already kind of happening right now, where people think Richardson is the fastest woman in the world. Not at all. She's got two women faster than her. Matter of fact, Jeter was faster than her, but she's not currently competing. So she's got two competing athletes that are faster than her, that had faster PRs than her, even when she ran her 10.72 this year. Faster PRs than her. Okay? She's going to go to Prefontaine. And if this happens, I am almost going to promise you this, right? If she goes to Prefontaine, let's show Elaine Thompson-Herah, because she's the actual fastest woman in the world right now, an Olympic gold medalist, two-time Olympic gold medalist now. Same thing with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in the 100. And she has the Olympic record. Isn't that interesting? Now, what Sha'Carri Richardson's going to do, if she runs a time in the 10.6s, she's going to claim, hey, see, I would have pushed the field to run even faster. We would have ran 10.5, right? No, incorrect, because that's a one-off race. Remember, it's a one-off race. Here's the second scenario. Let's say that she runs faster than Elaine Thompson-Herah. Number one, she's going to run through the line. Elaine Thompson-Herah didn't run through the line. Knowing that it's at Prefontaine, the way that Oregon is set up, they are in a semicircle. They're not a stadium. Semicircles are conducive for having high wind in one direction. So she's either going to be running with wind or against a headwind. How do I know? Well, you just try to take a bowl, blow a fan over it, and see what happens, and put your hand inside of it and see how that goes. Then take a semicircle, cut that bowl out, blow a fan out of it, and see that air comes in one direction and out the other one. It gets forced in that way. It's just basic physics. Now, here's the results of this year. Now, look at where it is in Oregon. She's got a +9, +2 point here, and then she's got a headwind against her. This is how Oregon is most of the time. Look throughout the history of how that is. How the stadium is set up is literally set up. Now, when people, here's the secret here. People are saying it's the track that's producing these fast times. Well, I just brought it down on your head here that the way that the stadium is set up, because it was set up like that before, it's the wind that is helping or not helping the athletes. Because even back when Lauren Williams in the old stadium, she had times of a tailwind of 3.6. I can still remember that like it was yesterday, when she was competing to go to Beijing or whatnot. She had a tailwind of 3.6 in the stadium in Oregon. So Oregon is a windy place. So if anything, we might see some very fast times and some records could go down. That could be the place where the world record in the 100, if it's not over 2.0 wind, can go down. Because If Elaine Thompson-Herah can run this at a negative -0.6 headwind while pointing, shutting it down slightly before the line, not really dipping at the line either. These are all the things there. Not dipping at the line, pointing. Those are two things right there. That means she slightly shut down right before. And remember, this is all tenths in hundredths of a second. Hundredths of a second could get you from first to third. We've seen that before with divas races. If you don't get that lean right, you can go from first to third or third to first. Right? Now, if she can do that here and run that a 10.61, imagine if she gets the Oregon track and she's healthy at that time, right? She got to be healthy, and she's got a tailwind against her with her start. That's better than Sha'Carri Richardson. You don't just fix a start like that. That takes over time. So I think I made my case about that. Rico Willow, she will slip on her third step out the block and couldn't recover. Oh yeah, she slipped on her third block. Yeah, she did, and then she panicked. That's what Shelly-Ann did. But we can't make excuses about anything. She did lose. She was very pissed off and whatnot. We can't make excuses here. We gotta hold them to account the same way. The same way I said most of this season. It depends on what Elaine Thompson-Herah we get in the final. If she's on point, then she wins. I literally said that. But if she's not, and the track record was showing that she wasn't, it's leaning against it. But once I saw her first heat, I said I'm giving co-favorite to her and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, but slight favorite to Elaine Thompson-Herah. She looked the most relaxed out of everybody. People were saying that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was relaxed, but remember, she had a 1.6 tailwind in her heat in the first one, and Elaine Thompson-Herah had a 0.3. And Ta Lou was running against the headwind, but she was running harder than other people. So equalizing everything to equal, them running similar times, Elaine Thompson-Herah had to run harder. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce would have been closer to a 10.9 something. We got to remember that. So with all of these people that's over here discrediting the times or anything, this is what I want you guys to do. You guys listening out here, the ones that got sense. Now we could disagree, that's fine. But it's another thing if we disagree in whatever, saying, hey, they're faking the times. The timers are just breaking it up. Okay, this is what you do. Instead of arguing with the trolls, you do this. Maybe you want to argue with them or something like that. You want to entertain that time a little bit. Here, ask them this. Exactly by how much the time is affected by it. How much? Is it 2/100ths of a second? Is it 1/100th of a second? Don't even throw out numbers. Is it hundredths of a second that is affected by, or thousandths of a second? Or is it, because thousands of a second could be rounded up. Is it tenths of a second? And ask them to specifically tell you mathematically how much the time is affected by because we got calculators for the wind, right? We got wind calculators. We can tell by how much time approximately. Obviously, there's a little bit slight differences, and that doesn't mean real world, right? Because athletes running in different conditions might run differently. Like at Gateshead, Dina Asher-Smith beat the rest of the field, but she's also used to the British atmosphere. So it's going to affect people. But we have at least some leeway where we got a mathematical way that we can detect how much the times are affected. Whereas these bozo the clowns out here with tinfoil hats all the way around suffocating their brain, probably drinking lead-based water, is coming out here just saying random stuff. They're discrediting that Ta Lou is now tied the African record because Ahore ran a 1078 before. At least from what I saw here. Now we can look up this live because the results that I saw, it was Ahore that had a 1078, but she had more of a tailwind. So if anything, they are tied African records. Personal best. 1078, yes. So she didn't necessarily break the African record like what was said, and I kind of roll with that too. Once I did some more research on it, I realized that she tied the African record. But she did, I think, yeah, she tied the African record. So with that being said, that's all we got to do. It says Head and Shoulder ATR. Caribbean Views TV said, Head and Shoulders ATR, for the people who keep saying the final was fake because Sha'Carri wasn't there. How about Sha'Carri knew she was going to get beaten? That's why she smoked weed and got herself banned. Hey, you know what? I kind of have a suspicion that that might have happened. Like, that's literally why I was saying I was keeping it quiet, because I don't want to seem like just a random hater. And that's why I instead decided to say she's the smartest in track and field. And that is part of the reason why I said that. Because I don't want to be just a random hater right here. Because I don't have any proof that that's what she done, that she did. So I didn't roll with that. Me personally, I had a feeling about that, but feeling isn't good enough for me to go out there and say, well, Sha'Carri Richardson, she went out and smoked it. But hey, look, I know I'm not the only one that's thinking that, but that doesn't make it true just because a lot of us are thinking that same thing. I don't want us to get into a dangerous way of thought, but that could be the case. Let's just say that she did think that she was going to lose and that she got out, and that this keeps her legacy of, hey, she doesn't have to face them. She's running really fast times, and we can't discredit that. She's one of the fastest in the world. She's done 10.7 multiple times this year, more than other athletes in one season sometimes, right? I think Elaine Thompson-Herah might have done 10.7 more than her. But in terms of that, Richardson is actually running very fast, so we can't take that away from her. But one thing that we can't prove is that she would have lost. We get into these mindless conversations about, well, if she would have been there, then this would have happened. You know what would have happened? She lost. That's the fact. She lost. She got herself disqualified, accidentally or on purpose. Doesn't really matter. She got disqualified. She didn't go. She didn't run. That means she's a hashtag loser. That's all it is. She's a loser. Okabare is a loser. She didn't even get a chance to run in the final. Now, even though I made that video about her getting targeted, guess what? She is currently a loser. Now, if we find out that her B sample, because as far as I know, it was her A sample. They have an A and B sample. If it turns out that her B sample is clear, that means she shouldn't have been banned. And then we really got some stuff to say and bring up some conclusions. I will be following Okabare's story and to see how this goes. Because if that's some grimy stuff that would have went down. But right now, we don't know anything about it. It's only speculation and what ifs about those things happen. They say, I reserve judgment for the 200. Elaine didn't look too good in her last race, but from her form suggests she might be better. Well, a lot of these athletes kind of run these meets as tune-ups and slash to get some money at these European Diamond League meets in between the championships. So a lot of them don't look good. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce didn't really look good there, and she performed and looked much better at this meet there. Also, Shericka Jackson actually did look good the entire time, even though she was running a little bit slower. She was running 22 low and 21 high. So she actually did look good. But many of the athletes didn't look in form in between that. I can't go by those. She was actually pissed that she didn't break 22 at that race. She thought she ran faster. I saw it on her face. She wasn't happy that she ran like, what, a 22.4 something. But now that we know that she has this in her legs, I think that gives her confidence. She's happy. She knows that her coach didn't just tell her to lift weights and say, go out there and run that 200 after you lift the weights and see if you could do this. Now she's like, okay, cool. Now that was just a joke right now. I don't know if she actually did. All right. But with everybody that's here, we got 160 plus people in the chat right now. Let's up the like buttons real quick. And if you guys want me to cover anything before we go, let me know, because I actually, no pun intended on this. I actually want to catch these finals right here, because a lot of these will be going on right now. There's a long jump qualification. We got some, I will be catching that. The steeplechase, darn it, I missed the steeplechase round 1. I'm missing round 2 right now. These are some of my favorite events. We got Emma Coburn for the U.S. representing, so I would definitely want to catch that. And then we got Davis from the United States representing in the long jump. And then, let's see. So anyway, like I said, if you want us to catch anything, looks like Porter is on an attempt right now for Jamaica. So definitely you all want to catch that. I don't want to hold you here talking about this, but I know it's a lot of fans that only got that. So Big Stepper asked me who I got in the 200. Let me see. The 200 right now, I'm going to have to wait until the first round, but realistically, dang, that's going to be hard to right now. It's kind of hard to call. I've been leaning towards Shericka Jackson, but with Elaine Thompson-Herah, what she I think Elaine Thompson-Herah has now punched her bid to go through. I'm gonna have to see how she looks in round one. Right now, if I gotta go by my gut feeling about how these things are going, I say Sharika Jackson has the 200 with Gabby Thomas, and I don't think Shanae Miller-Uibo is gonna do that. It's gonna be Sharika Jackson, Gabby Thomas, and Elaine Thompson are my favorites right now for the gold. If it comes down to a medal, I think Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has generally got a medal. I know that doesn't make sense if I could have three favorites for a gold and then the medal could still go to somebody else. That's just different scenarios. It depends on their lane positioning and everything. I need to see the first round. But right now, if I had to stick to my gut and you said one person only, I'm going to say, based on what I just saw, I'm going to give Elaine Thompson-Herah that. But we don't know what the first round is going to be. So there we go. And then Asher Smith, of course, pulled out. Man, I got to give myself a pat on the back because when I saw her at the British Championships, I saw that she looked like she was running through a washing machine. And then somebody said, a coach was like, hey, that looks like that could be a hamstring injury. Turns out weeks later, that's literally the injury she got. So you coaches that have worked with athletes like this, you got a keen eye. Because it's like the same eye I got in pole vault. I can tell you because I've coached that and got people at a national level. I can tell you what's happening in the pole vault just like that, where most people can't. Because I've eat, breathed, and slept pole vault, even though I've never done it myself, but can see that. So you coaches and the people that know that without having the inside information and can tell what type of injury a person has, man, congratulations and big ups to you guys. Because, man, that is some skill right there. Other than that, that's who I got there. Sharika Jackson for gold. Marcellus Cornelius. Pimp said she came injured, but of course athletes don't admit that. Eventually, when she didn't make the final, she admitted it. Yeah, Prandini might get a medal if she pushes hard. Yeah, I don't see her getting gold. His question was about gold. But yeah, Prandini, I think she can potentially get a medal right here. I think Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is going to make it hard for people. And if Gabby Thomas, man, it's going to be real hard for Prandini to get one. I see if she gets off that bend really well, she's in for a good medal. I would say if she's at worst case scenario, she's got to be third place off of that bend. If she's anything worse than that, she's coming in for a fifth or a sixth place finish in that final. That's the way I look at it. I can't see Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce fading. And I definitely don't see Shanae Miller-Uibo or Sharika Jackson giving it up. I think Sharika Jackson's got much stronger strength than Shanae Miller-Uibo does as far as her speed endurance strength. Not the 400 strength. Obviously, Shanae Miller-Uibo is faster. And yeah, I do appreciate that Dina Asher Smith, she said, hey, this is the Olympics. I'm still going to try to go through and do the best I can even though I'm injured. That's what she did. She didn't pull out. She didn't say mental health. She didn't say, oh my goodness, I can go here, because it's people taking L after L after L and they're using all types of excuses here. Uh-oh, it says no data. Okay, now we're good. So with that being said, let me go out here and check this. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Definitely subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next video. I think I'm going to go live again after these results and everything are here. Let me see the men's 400, the women's shot put. I'm missing the first round. I'm missing these rounds. Dang. I hope Emma Coburn is in this one so that I can at least see it. But if not, looks like she isn't. Dang. Because you know how the coverage for the Olympics is horrible. They just treat this as a secondary thing. It's track and field as a secondary thing, as well as a lot of other sports. It's not just track and field. That's why we need to create a secondary, a main, a primary way of having championships, a league by itself. Obviously, it'll be, I think, shaped in the NBA or NFL type of thing with teams. I think that's the best way to do it. In all honesty, that's the way I think is the best way to do it. Oh my goodness, my computer's freezing up. So women's hurdles. So we got the men's 100 final. I'm definitely going to go live after this. Women's triple jump final. Oh my goodness. This is going to be great. We got Rojas there. Unfortunately, Bargwin isn't looking too good. Final results? Huh? Oh wow, she made the final. Nice. She made the final. That's good. So Bargwin is going through injury right now, and she has made the final for that. And she's the defending champion from Colombia. Now, she has been so close to the world record in the triple jump for so many years. If I got to give her a quick shout out here, man, she is one of the most entertaining athletes. She uses her femininity to her advantage, sometimes showing her rump out there. I know she knows what the heck is going on, using her hat and everything else to her advantage and everything to bring some eyes to the event and everything. So she always stays with a smile. She does the little pouty thing or whatever. She's like, whatever. And yeah, that's entertaining to look at as an athlete, like that she's going there. Now, if y'all want to see some entertainment there, definitely go out to view the that final. Definitely view the triple jump final, because this is gonna be one. Rojas, she's more serious. She's out there. She's just like, hey, look, I cut my hair off. I'm out here. I'm about to get this one. So, and she's closer to the world record now, and she's in the prime of her life. So I can see her actually winning, taking over from a Bargwin. Obviously, season best right here. The world record is 15.5. All right, 15.5. She's at 15.43, which is a personal best. 15.5 from the Ukraine athlete right here. So let's see if that world record goes down. I actually wouldn't be upset. I would like to see a Bargwin personally win again, but I wouldn't be upset there. Let me see. The men's high jump final. That's going to be exciting to see if Barsham is going to be able to make be able to be world champion and Olympic champion here. He went through injury. He was the closest athlete to breaking the world record. As you can see, this is 2.45 meters. His personal best was 2.43. He kept going over 2.3s, 2.3s, 2.35, whatever. He was like the only athlete that was doing it over and over. Then he got injured, and it kind of pulled him off. I really want to see him be able to pull this off here. And then Javon Harrison. Man, this guy gets over by the hair of his shitty chin. This guy, he gets in on his third attempts. And I'm just like, dude, how the heck do you do every single one of your heights is third attempt? You know how many times you're jumping up? And then the women's shot put, we got some former Salukis. We got former athletes that were trained by the same coach. Saunders was trained by the same coach. Ramsey was trained by the same coach at different schools and everything. So this will be very interesting to see. Maybe Saunders is able to make it through. That's going to be an interesting thing. In the men's 100 final, if I still got a crowd here, let me see how many people we got here. This is going to be the last thing. But I think Andre DeGrasse is winning the men's 100. Big Stepper said. So, the men's 100 final, if I got to make a prediction right now, before I see the semis, because I'm not going to do a live right there. If I got to do the prediction right here, I'm going to say DeGrasse is ready to take a gold. At worst case scenario, I see him medaling. I don't think it's going to be... I don't know what's going on with Bro Mel, but he's going to have to get it together if he's going to have to win. I had him up there, and then he's over here kind of floundering. Team USA is taking big L's at all levels in different sports. There's a first time in, I think, jousting or what is that event called? I forgot what the sport is called, that the U.S. has gotten a medal, so that was an unexpected gold. But as far as that, the U.S. is underperforming in the gold medal count. Overall, the nation is huge. China and Japan has been ahead of the U.S. until the Olympics. This is where the U.S. usually pulls away. Now, in this aspect, I'm going to say it's hard to call. It's hard to call at this point. I would say DeGrasse is going to be my favorite to get the gold, too. He's, at worst case, going to get a medal. That's the way I look at it. Yep. When is the men's 100-meter final out tonight? Yeah, so look, go to the Olympics.com website right here, and then you see this is Japanese time. So this is 1900. So that means this is 7 p.m. and you adjust it to your time. That's 7 p.m. Tokyo time. You go to worldclock.com or .org or whatever. Just type in Google or DuckDuckGo, as I like to use right here up in the right-hand corner. Then you go to World Clock, and then you say Tokyo and then your local time. They give you the option to do that. And then you see what time that is, and it's going to be 7:15 their time, and then whatever your local time is. All right? Now, with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one because I've effectively just missed the 2 rounds of that. That means this race is still going on. I definitely, it's still going on. That means those first Fredericks for the U.S., Sha'Carri, which is the world record holder. I definitely want to see her be able to take this. Nothing against Emma Coburn or anything, but I definitely want to see Sha'Carri become the Olympic champion after she won the World Championships gold. She is just that much better than everybody else. A great athlete. Paced a couple world records in the women's 5,000. Was at 10,000 for the Ethiopian. So with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. To be honest, I can't predict the women's 200 meters too competitive. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. The men's 100 and the women's 200, I think, are very hard. But I'll catch you all on the next one. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe on the way out. Peace.